Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rekakadash. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shah being the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Now let's get the instructions of Yahweh Shah. Start at Matthew 10 and 5. Matthew 10 and 5. It says, these 12 Yahweh Shah sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not in the way of the Gentiles, and enter any city of the Samaritans. No, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. I'm going to read that again. Matthew 10 and 5. These 12 Yahweh Shah sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Verse 6, it says, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Verse 6, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Verse 7, and as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So he told his 12 disciples not to go in the way of the Gentiles, the non-Israelites. He told them to go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, meaning the Benjamin, Judah, and Levi that was in Jerusalem. They was only 3 tribes. Let's get that real quick in I think Ezra chapter 1. Yeah, Ezra chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised to go forth to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. So that's why Yahweh Shah was telling them, go to the lost sheep, because we only got 3 tribes here in Jerusalem. See, we only got 3 tribes that's here in Israel. Let me read that again, because this is when the Persians allowed the Israelites to go back to their homeland and rebuild their temple and their city, because they were sent to Babylon and their city was destroyed. They were sent to Babylon to captivity. I'm going to read Ezra 1 and 5 again. It say, then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin. See, them 2 tribes. The head tribe was Judah, and Benjamin was King Saul tribe, and then you got the priest was the Levites. It says, then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests of the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. So about time Yahweh Shah got on the scene, it was only Judah, Benjamin, and the Levites. So that's why he told his disciples in Matthew 10 and 5 to go not in the way of the Gentiles, but go to the lost sheep. Now let's get 15, because 15 give you a situation to show you how important it was to Yahushua. It was very important because his disciples and him ran into a situation. Matthew 15 and 25. It says, Then Yahushua went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and Zidon. 22. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. 23. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she cried after us. 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. 25. Then she came and worshiped him and said, Lord, help me. 26. And he answered and said, It is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs. So he was not going to preach to these Gentiles. See, he was not trying to give these Gentiles anything because it wasn't for them. Okay? He was going after the lost sheep. Now, when you get those revised versions of the Bible, go to you can get a Jehovah Witness Bible, a NIV, a New King James, all of the revised versions that's separate from the King James. You go to Matthew 18 and 11 and you ain't gonna find it because it reiterates this situation. Matthew 18 and 11, it says, For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost. See, he came to save that which was lost. And look how he worded it. Verse 12. He say, How think ye if a man have 100 sheep, and one of them be gone astray, do he not leave the 99 and go into the mountains and seek that which is gone astray? See, the northern kingdom had went astray. The northern kingdom, they were the other 10 tribes. They went astray. See, the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi he rose up during the time of Esdras, and they went back to the homeland and built the temple in the city that was in Jerusalem, the house of the Lord. But it was Israelites that went astray. It was Israelites that wasn't in Jerusalem when Yahushua was doing his miracle. It was Israelites that wasn't in Jerusalem when Yahushua was preaching. Okay, let me get let me get John to back that up again. And he wasn't going to find nobody but those Israelites that was lost and that had went astray. John 18 and 20, he says, Yahushua answered him, I spake openly to the world. So did he speak openly to the world? Was Yahushua speaking openly to the world, to everybody, all nations in the world? Is he going to... My bad. Salakia. Now, John 18, verse 20, was showing how he said he spoke openly to the world. It said, Yahushua answered him, I spake openly to the world. I ever taught in the synagogue and in the temple, whether the Jews always resorted, and in secret have I said nothing. So he wasn't talking to the whole world, he was only talking to the Jews. See, that lets you know when you hear world in the Bible, it's not talking about all nations. It's talking about only the Jews. That's why he told his 12 disciples not to go into the way of the Gentiles. So in Matthew 28, on this so-called Great Commission, he said, 28, this Matthew 28 and 19, it says, Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. 20, teaching them to observe all the things whether I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the world. So he commanded them to go not in the way of the Gentiles, not to the non-Israelites. He commanded them to go to the lost sheep, because the lost sheep had went astray. The lost sheep had went astray. Let me go back to 15 again. Matthew 15. Okay. Okay, Matthew. I think it's John 18. Okay, John 18. Okay, I'll get back to that. Now let's see Matthew 1 and 21. Let's get that. It says, Matthew 1 and 21, and she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, Yahushua, for he shall save his people from their sin. So he was coming to save his people because they had went astray. Let me get that verse again, because I want to reiterate that verse. Okay, it's 18. It's in 18. Because 18:11, these other so-called Christians took out the Bible, Matthew 18 and 11. So right after 18 and 11, it tells you why he was coming to find that which was lost, why he was looking for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Verse 12, it says, How think ye, if a man have 100 sheep, see, because he's talking about the lost sheep of the house of Israel. If a man have 100 sheep and one of them be gone astray, do he not leave the 99 and go into the mountains and seek that which is gone astray? See, that mountains represent kingdoms. Mountains don't represent just walking in some mountain. See, mountains represented kingdom. That's why he said, go unto all nations. Go unto all these mountains to look for his lost sheep of the house of Israel. Verse 13, he say, if so be that he find it, verily I say unto you, he rejoiced more of that sheep than of the 99 which went not astray. So he wasn't looking too much for the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, because they didn't go astray. They was in Jerusalem. See, he was sending his people to go look for the lost sheep. He was sending his disciples to go on this great commission of looking for the lost sheep. Now let's see what the disciples did. Let's go to Acts chapter 11. Let's see what the disciples was doing. I'm going to start at verse 18. It says, when they heard these things, this Acts 11 and 18, when they heard these things, they heard their peace. They held their peace and glorified God, saying, then have God also to the Gentiles granted repentance unto life. See, that's them lost sheep that went astray. Verse 19. It says, now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen traveled as far as Phoenice and Cyprus and Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto the Jews only. See, there go that Jews only. That's what Yahushua said in John 18, that he spoke openly to the world, but only where the Jews reside, or always where the Jews resided. He wasn't going to other nations. He didn't go down to Edom and talk to the Edomites. See, because Edom was right under Israel. He didn't go down there and talk to the Edomites. See, he stayed in Jerusalem and preached only to the Israelites only, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And he was sending his disciples on a great commission to go find these lost sheep that had went astray. Now let me get that in Jeremiah. Let's see, Jeremiah 9. Now Ephraim was the head tribe of the northern kingdom. So when you're talking about the other lost sheep, you got to look up Ephraim. Now, okay, this is in Isaiah. Isaiah, I'm thinking. Let me go to Jeremiah 17 and 15. Look what he said. He said, they went astray. Jeremiah 7:15. And I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim. See, so the northern kingdom was cast out. He wasn't just given instructions to go find some lost people that don't know what's going on. He was giving them specific rules to go find the tribe of Ephraim, Manasseh, Issachar, the other 10 tribes that went through the Assyrian captivity, which today is the Hispanics and Native Americans, pretty much, because it was only 3 tribes in Jerusalem at that time. So let me go back to Acts, and let's see here, Acts 11. Acts 11 verse 19 again, it say, now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen traveled as far as Phoenice, Cyprus, and Antioch, preaching the word to none but the Jews only. See, they wasn't preaching to everybody. They was, and see, Phoenice had all kind of nations in there. Cyprus had all kind of nations in there. But they only went in there to preach to the Jews only. And the Great Commission had told them, he told them and commanded them in the Great Commission to preach to all nations. So why did they go in there and disobey him by preaching to the Jews only? If that was the case, he wasn't telling them to go into all nations to find the Jews, to find his lost sheep, to find the house of Israel that had went astray. See, but they wasn't disobeying him. They was obeying his direct orders to go find the lost sheep. Go not in the way of the Gentiles. Now let's go. Let's get Luke. Luke chapter 21 and 24. It says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captives into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So that's those other sheep. That's for nowadays. See, because back then wasn't the only time that they went astray during the Assyrian captivity. They was gonna go into captivity after they left Rome. That's what he was telling them. Let's go up. He was telling them that they was finna get kicked out of the homeland and go into captivity. Luke 21 and 20. It says, when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh or near. So when they were surrounded by the Romans, the so-called white man, see, they were surrounded by these Romans. And so that's when they was getting, he let them know, you better flee into other nations, or you're gonna be caught by these Romans, and they either gonna kill you or put you into captivity, capture you, and you're gonna be their slave. You're gonna be their capture. You see? And so that commission was gonna go further than just them going into all these other lands um, and preaching. And so when the apostles uh, went to preaching, that was before it happened, because this happened in 70 AD. So the apostles started to preach from 33, when he died at 33. So that's 33 AD to 70. That span of 40 years, the apostles was preaching, and they was going not into the way of the Gentiles, they was going to Jews only, just like he went to the Jews only, because it was all about the lost sheep, those that had went astray, that northern kingdom, those 10 tribes. Let me get that in 2nd Esdras real quick to set that foundation. 2nd Esdras 13 and 40. Now mind you, Ezra was telling how the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was still in the homeland. They went back to rebuild Jerusalem. But the other 10 tribes, they didn't go back to rebuild Jerusalem. They went astray. 2nd Esdras 13 and 40 say, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, when Salmanazar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Okay, so they didn't go back to Jerusalem. The only people that was in Jerusalem was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. The other 10 tribes had left. They went into slavery under the Assyrian. Okay. So we talking about the lost sheep. Let's see here. John 11, and I'm gonna start at verse 50. It says, neither consider it is expedient for us that one man shall die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. See, it was about that whole nation. That's what the whole situation was about. Him dying for that nation. Verse 51, it said, and he spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation. See, that's one nation he dying for. Now he's going to elaborate on that. 52. He said, not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. So now he was going to the scattered. And these are the ones that went astray. These were the lost sheep. And see, he was fulfilling prophecy. When they say he was high priest that year, and he was fulfilling prophecy, because this was a prophecy in the Old Testament in Ezekiel 37. This lost sheep, this separation of the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, this separation of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi and the other 10 tribes was prophesied in the Old Testament. So the Great Commission was already prophesied in the Old Testament. Ezekiel 37, I'm going to get straight to the point. Let's see here. Ezekiel 37. let's start at 16. It says, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel his companion. So that's Judah was the head tribe of the southern kingdom. The children of Israel was the northern 10 kingdoms, 10 tribes. So he say, this still in Ezekiel 37:16. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companion. So he just breaking down the vision that had happened. But during the Great Commission, it was about them bringing these, identifying these tribes. Verse 17, it say, and join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in your hand. See, that's what he said in John 11. It says, verse 18, and when the children of your people shall speak unto you, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou mean by this? So they're going to see the sign. They're going to see the stick. They're going to see the prophets gathering the people. They're going to see the apostles going out into the Great Commission and saying, the kingdom of Israel is at hand. We here for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They're going to wonder, what does that mean?